The iconic frontman of Queen, Freddie Mercury, wasn't just a singer. He was a bona fide rock superhero. From his powerhouse vocals that could leap tall octaves in a single bound to his electrifying stage presence, Mercury redefined what it meant to be a rock star. However, beyond the headbanging and flamboyant outfits, Freddie lived a life only known to some. Join us as we discover the man behind the music and dig into the untold story of Freddie Mercury. Born Farrokh Bulsara on September 5, 1946, Mercury was destined for greatness from the shores of Zanzibar to the swinging streets of London. Despite his Zoroastrian upbringing, he was all about Western pop and fashion mags, and he devoured them like no other. Sent off to a boarding school in India at 8, Freddie didn't just learn his ABCs, he formed his first band, the Hectics, and picked up the name Freddie along the way. But there was a twist. Thousands of miles away from home left him feeling a bit like a fish out of water, a feeling that never quite left him. Back in Zanzibar, a revolution sparked a move to suburban London in '64. No time wasted, Freddie dove into the swinging 60s scene, hitting art school with future Rolling Stone Ronnie Wood. His room at the time essentially looked like a shrine to Jimi Hendrix, which of course was natural for a man who was so obsessed with music back in the day. Day and night, Freddie jammed to his favorite songs until one day, something big came his way. But Freddie's big break wasn't just luck, it was fate. He spotted Smile, a band with Brian May and Roger Taylor, and wasted no time shouting his ideas from the rooftops, literally. At their shows, he'd belt out, "If I were your singer, I'd show you how it's done," and boy did he ever. When the band's original vocalist called quits in 1970, Freddie finally stepped into the spotlight. By 1971, with bassist John Deacon on board, they crowned themselves Queen. The name, Freddie's brainchild, was a deliberate twist, classy yet controversial. According to what Mercury once told People, the band members wanted to be pompous and provocative. Now, to match his new regal moniker, Freddie morphed into a stage presence like no other. Drawing from rock legends like Hendrix and unexpected inspirations like showbiz icon Liza Minnelli, he crafted a persona that was larger than life. Paul Gambasini, who was a friend of Mercury's, also noted that Liza was a big influence on him. You see, Freddie mastered the art of commanding the stage without an instrument, and it looks like he borrowed from the likes of Bob Fosse, using extravagant gestures that became his trademark. That wasn't all though. Mercury's fashion sense was as bold as his stage presence, as it challenged conventional gender norms with flair. Designer Zandra Rhodes, renowned for her avant-garde creations, remembers Freddie as an early advocate of androgyny, akin to David Bowie. She even recalled that Freddie was naturally always drawn to her chiffons and exotic sleeves. Freddie had a real zest for life, and it was clear he wasn't afraid to show it. However, as Queen soared with hits like Killer Queen in 1974, Freddie's personal life underwent a transformation. Since 1969, Mercury had been in a loving relationship with a glamorous young woman from London's Biba fashion scene, Mary Austin. They shared a home and even planned to marry, but Mary sensed something unsettled in Freddie. She knew he wasn't fully at peace with her. On top of that, Gambasini also reflected that, at the time, Freddie was shocked when he found out his gay impulses were stronger than his heterosexual ones. Freddie eventually confided in Mary about his feelings, and she recalled how big of a relief it was, especially because Mary could see that Mercury had returned to his true self after their conversation. Though the romantic relationship ended, their bond deepened. For Freddie, their connection was similar to a marriage of souls, built on belief and unwavering support, lasting until his final days. But this wasn't the only journey that Freddie would look back at fondly. The singer's journey with Bohemian Rhapsody, often seen as his magnum opus, reflects a profound personal and artistic evolution. Many close to him, including fans, speculate that the song's introspective lyrics, starting with "Mama just killed a man," carry layers of meaning. Author Leslie Ann Jones suggests it symbolizes Freddie shedding his old self to embrace his true identity. Peter Hintz, Queen's longtime roadie, echoes this sentiment, describing the song of a deeply personal statement. Over the years, Mercury remained cryptic about its meaning, often deflecting detailed explanations. Despite the ambiguity though, Bohemian Rhapsody defied industry norms upon its release in 1975, becoming a global phenomenon and solidifying Queen's status as rock royalty. And there's a good reason for that. For Mercury, every endeavor, from recording to touring, demanded nothing less than the best. Filmmaker Rudy Dolezal, who worked closely with Mercury on music videos, recalls a poignant conversation where Freddie expressed his drive for excellence. But despite Mercury's larger-than-life stage persona, behind the scenes, he was just regular Fred, someone who cherished privacy and closeness with his closest friends. Brian May, reflecting on their friendship, shared with People in 2017, Freddie was a showman on stage, but off stage, he loved those quiet moments with a few close friends. We were like family. No pretense, just us. Even Freddie's creativity sparked in unexpected places. Peter Hince recalled the birth of Crazy Little Thing Called Love. It all started in a bathtub. Freddie was apparently humming something while taking a bath, and then bam! He randomly came out and demanded someone to give him a guitar. So Hince handed him one and off Freddie went, making a masterpiece just like that. Then, in 1979, Queen headed to Munich to work with producer Reinhold Mack. This kicked off a fruitful collaboration spanning 5 albums, starting with The Game in 1980. Freddie and Mack formed a tight bond, with Freddie even becoming godfather to Mack's son, Freddie named in his honor. Mack remembered Freddie's exuberance when the child was born. The singer wanted to send flowers, and when he didn't even mind sending an entire store to Mack's house. Freddie's warmth also extended to Mack's children, whom he treated like family. He would swim with them, have movie nights, and even play tennis. According to Mack, Freddie felt like he had a real family every single time he spent time with them. The family actually meant so much to the singer that it looked like he was ready to do anything for them. When Mack's son, Julian, asked for a special birthday surprise, Freddie didn't disappoint. Julian wanted Freddie to show up to his party in the costume from the It's a Hard Life video, and true to form, Freddie obliged. Now, Freddie's vibrant social life wasn't limited to kids' parties either. According to Dolezal, Queen's music video shoots often turned into lively gatherings at Freddie's home. But it was a chance encounter on a night out that led Freddie to meet Jim Hutton, an Irish hairdresser who would become his partner until the end. By the mid-1980s though, despite Queen's iconic status, they faced commercial challenges. It looked like people thought Queen's best moments were behind them. You see, it had been a decade since the groundbreaking success of Bohemian Rhapsody, and the band hadn't seen major hits in the US for 5 years. Within Queen, there was also uncertainty about the future. Hince revealed that there was a real possibility they were going to break up around then, with John Deacon feeling tired and focusing on his family, and Freddie pursuing solo projects. The band was at a crossroads. But there was more going on behind the scenes than the media at the time was willing to portray. Despite the dramatic portrayal of eternal strife in Bohemian Rhapsody, Peter set the record straight about Queen's dynamics. He revealed that it's not like the band didn't argue on things over the tour, but the way it was shown was wrong. They made it seem like Freddie was fired, and that's not how it went down. Rudy Dolezal, who witnessed their recording sessions, confirms that Freddie often played the role of peacemaker during disagreements. Simply put, Queen was a democratic band. The 4 of them were equal. While more controversies plagued the band over the years, Queen was bent on just focusing on their music, and that's exactly what they did. The invitation to perform at Live Aid in 1985 provided a pivotal moment for Queen. Bob Geldof's call to action for the historic concert aimed at African famine relief rallied the biggest names in music to England's Wembley Stadium. This marked a moment when there was obviously a lot of tension. For the first time, the band went on stage without a sound check. Despite the pressure, Brian May remained confident. To most, it was daunting because he hadn't developed the knack for transmitting energy into a huge stadium, whereas Queen went on knowing they could connect with anyone and anywhere. In the evening, Freddie stepped onto the stage before thousands and thousands of people and a global television audience. Their 20-minute performance was a culmination of nearly 15 years of stagecraft, finely honed through countless shows. Safe to say, Queen's Live Aid performance was nothing short of legendary, even to Brian May. None of the band members had realized how much they'd evolved, but after they left that stage, it was clear they had nailed it. The Magic Tour came next, with Mercury as vibrant and unstoppable as ever. Jones believed that there was absolutely no signs that things were going downhill for the band, but the dark cloud of AIDS was fast approaching. As the disease spread like wildfire through New York's nightlife, panic set in. Gambasini remembers that people had been reckless before and they knew it was unsafe. Testing was a nightmare, and there were no drugs to help. The only thing people at the time knew was that they were going to die once they got the disease. And the worst part was Mercury's response to this. The singer didn't care about safety and precautions. The way he saw life, he just wanted to be in the moment and forget about what was safe. Freddie was actually becoming so reckless that his bandmates were sure they'd lose him to the disease one day. Their fears sadly ended up becoming true. In 1987, Freddie was diagnosed with AIDS, but instead of shouting it from the rooftops, he kept it under wraps. Why the cloak and dagger act? It all came down to his parents. Mercury's parents were incredibly religious and weren't exactly fans of anyone being a homosexual. So in the end, Freddie rocked on in a secret and led the double life. Eventually, the truth spilled out to his bandmates over dinner, but Freddie wasn't one to dwell on the downer notes. He decided to live life to the fullest, his motto becoming "make music until I drop." Even when his body was screaming for a break, he poured his heart and soul into recording. A true champion rocking out until the final curtain call. Eventually, the band tried to hide Freddie's decline with a black and white filter, but it was clear the singer was thin as a rail. Even though he could barely stand during some of his final days, Freddie delivered a show-stopping performance in the "These Are the Days of Our Lives" video. He sang about lost times and enduring love, poured his heart out one last time, and then finished with a flourish and a wink. Just a day later, Freddie made his illness public. He may have kept it a secret for a while, but he faced his final act with the same courage and charisma that made him a legend. What are your thoughts on the untold story of the legend Freddie Mercury? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you next time.